You know, this room is glorious and there are a lot of people here. There could have been more people here. I know why some people aren't here. Because of broken hearts, because of broken promises, because of broken systems.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake
Oh man, very punchable face.
Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It is Monday, February 3rd, 2020. And if I seem a little thrown off today, it's because Joel called it. I met my match. Jesse Lee Peterson's the Bond's new employee, Chris, has hair to rival Hake's hair. But not Ayanna Pressley, not to make fun of her. She has alopecia. How do you pronounce it?
It's alopecia.
Alopecia. And I always read it alopecia. There's an album called Alopecia. It's actually by this guy. Why? But anyways, that's a side note. He's a liberal. Son of this guy is he was interviewed by Jesse Lee Peterson. His name is Yoni Wolf. Was interviewed a few years ago when I was producer, and he's in this band called Y, and he has an album called Alopecia, but I've always read it as Alopecia. But he's the son of what are those people called? Those Jews who believe in Jesus, Messianic Jews. I think he might have even been raised that, but now he's a liberal, sort of agnostic. But that's a side note. I just showed you a clip where really Nick did. Nick is the new Joel. Working the board, right on. And it was a clip of Ayanna Pressley, who is a Democrat black woman who married a man who already has a daughter. And she's one of the new Democrat female women, powerful women. And she appeared in a meme that Jesse created, or I created with Jesse, showing all these Democrat women and the degenerate things that they're about that we would never have accepted in America as elected leaders or representatives. But she's in the Congress, Ayanna Pressley, from Maryland or something? I don't know. But you may have noticed if you were watching the video, she was completely bald, shamelessly bald. And she did that to, I guess, I don't know, they do that a lot. Some of these women and black women, in particular, there's another black woman who's kind of pretty, but then she shaves her head. Dylan says it's to disrespect men. But yeah, she has that thing, alopecia, which means like different odd bald spots. Is that correct? Am I right? And you know who was cured of alopecia? The man who was Joel before Joel became Joel. Andre used to have that, and he got cured of it by Dr. Singh, who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a few times. I think it was just a matter of eating better. I could be wrong. Maybe he had some herbs or whatever. Anyways, I'm live in hour 4 of Jesse Lee Peterson's stream on YouTube, etc. I'm going to deal more. I'll replay that clip for you guys. It's kind of cringy, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. But somebody reminded me that it is so-called Black History Month. It's February. It's funny, when I try to pronounce February correctly, I get all tripped up. Journey with Jordan says she's a bald Hebrew Israelite. Interesting. Yeah. I forgot too. And, the reason is I can't think of any normal blacks or any normal people, period, who celebrate Black History Month or any History Month or any History Day, except for like the actual holidays, like even the President's Day. Yeah, even Kwanzaa. I don't see normal blacks doing it. To me, those things, that's so female to give recognition and stuff like that. As far as I know, only the media and academia, which are liberals, intellectuals, which is like the female side of thinking, like the not sane type, the feel good type of thinking. They're the only ones who celebrate this dumb idea. Two worlds in their own little worlds, right? Media and academia. By the way, speaking of blacks, I saw on a Drudge headline, Hispanics are the largest voting minority bloc for the first time. Blacks have been replaced as the go-to minority to kiss up to. It's an article by far left Axios, which is owned by the same guy who's involved with HBO or something. I don't know. It's one of those. Politico, maybe. You've been replaced, though, blacks. Also, speaking of blacks being history, once whites are history, the blacks will be history, too. Whites shouldn't have let blacks slide morally. We've been letting them slide. Let them cry their racism. Let them blah, 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 this or that. Whites have been sliding, too. Drudge reports rural America's health crisis. I presume that's mostly whites. I'm not sure. Seizes state's attention, and Obamacare didn't fix it. It's an article by Pew Trusts. But Obamacare didn't fix their problems. Socialism, can I say the word? Sucks. I hate using that word. I used to not even like that word. Speaking of whites on decline, I forgot to play this clip last week, and I just have to play it for you. I showed you this guy's face, which I described as being punchable at the beginning of the show. It's this 20-year-old man. I forget what his name was. Actually, a male, adult human male, as opposed to a man. This is the clip of that man who should be caned. It's that silent clip. Show this man, this is a guy. He's smiling on his mugshot, long hair, beard, 20 years old. He doesn't know better. But I have a silent clip footage of him in the courtroom, and he's lit up his pot. This was from the Tennessean. It's footage of him just lighting up. You see it? Yeah, go ahead and play it because it's just quiet footage. Here he is. He's standing before the judge. Courtroom is full. This is in Tennessee. He puts the joint in his mouth, which is the pot cigarette thing. And he gets out. Oh, he just lit it with a match. And he lit it up. And then people point at him. And the bailiff finally grabs him and cuffs him. A little bit more brutality, please, police. Or more heavier use of force. Police brutality doesn't exist. But show that just one more time. That's him needing to get that public flogging over in Indonesia. In a Muslim part of Indonesia, they have female floggers flogging the females that are out of control. And, doing wrong stuff. And this seems like it deserves it. And he's like waving it in front of the people. Some of the people laughed. And I heard that the courtroom stank or stunk. I don't know the correct conjugation of that. Stink. But he deserves a beating. This just seems like it to me. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed that to you guys. There were several things from my Sunday blog post. I was on my channels on Sunday that I wanted to get to, but that I didn't get to, and I want to get to them. But first, let me get to Jose out of Texas, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Antifa, full of prejudice. They're Nazi communists. A little bit more about McCarthyism. McCarthyism being the Red Scare, where Joe McCarthy was accusing everybody of being communist. I haven't read it yet, but I received tips about Joe McCarthy. I think he was a senator. And then I'll talk about Ayanna Pressley and Bernie's big rally and Elizabeth Warren's small rally and other stuff. Jose out of Texas, how are you?
Good. How's it going, man?
Doing fine. No man is good.
That's right. Only God is good.
Right on. What's up?
Yeah, you were touching on Black History Month, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I was talking to Dylan, and I'm like, wait, it could be a made-up construct, like, you know, to push a certain agenda or something, like, because I've been reading up more on the socialist programs.
Yeah.
You know, that America we've been doing since the '60s and stuff.
Right.
Like, wait, oh man, I'm on to you guys. You know, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
go on.
any type of feel sorry for people is going to end up being that way. Is going to have consequences that are destructive.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, us accepting it,
Yeah.
we bring our own destruction. You know, it's not the ones that are pushing it. You know, like, I mean, they're not innocent either. You know.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, and also, you, Nick, and Joel on the Fallen State. That was.
Oh
man.
yeah.
It was funny. Because I was, you know, after Joel and Nick came up with the Black and Brown show.
Yes.
I was like, man, I want to see more cool stuff, and man, that was an awesome episode. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. It was fun. That was Jesse's idea. He's I guess a co-producer of the Fallen State. We had that female immigration lawyer woman, old lady, bail on us. Just ran off, and I saw her too. I was all friendly to her.
Oh yeah, she's all with her arms in the air going, ah!
She ran away, and so the experts came on, the radio crew. It was fun.
Yeah.
Judy Wood.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I liked it too. I checked it out. It's cool.
Awesome. All right, so I'll let you go. All right,
All right, appreciate it, Jose. Good to hear from you, man.
Yeah, later.
All right. So, you know, let me get to this bald head. Should I? No, you know what? Briefly, just let me tell you guys, speaking of prejudice, Antifa over in New York, I just have a brief little headline about this. They ended up attacking a trash cleanup. You know, people going around picking up the litter and stuff like that. Just voluntarily, totally voluntary. It wasn't court ordered or anything. And they were mistaken by Antifa for a homeless cleanup. And Antifa, of course, takes the side of the trashy, drug addict, homeless people that are beg you for your money, and then they cuss you out when you say no. Or whatever. Sometimes they say God bless. But generally, I think about 50-50 you're going to get cussed out. Or else they just accept it. Most of the time they probably just accept it, but good 20% of the time they cuss you out. Anyways, this story was shared by Elijah Schaefer, who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show and maybe the Fallen State, also known as Slightly Offensive. He shared this on Twitter that Antifa guys just called people Nazis and all that stuff when they were just cleaning up the neighborhood. In fact, I would love for them to clean up the stupid homeless encampments, because those are dirtying up the cities and making it harder for people to make a living, harder for people to do their business, harder for people to just walk around. Homelessness in New York has got to be like way worse for the people because they have way more pedestrians. Crazy. A lady was stabbed to death just the other day in New York, homeless. By a homeless, or she was homeless, or both. By a homeless guy. She was old, but crazy. And over here, to be honest, actually, I think LA homelessness is worse because there aren't as many pedestrians. So the few pedestrians, they're more alone and they're less protected when they have to walk by the homeless people. Most of them are not going to do anything, right? But you never know. Some of them, there's footage of them like throwing rocks through vehicle windows and all kinds of madness. So anyways, that's what liberalism gets you, homelessness. Was Joe McCarthy wrong? I asked this question yesterday. Seems like people became what they hate. You know, the liberals are deplatforming all of us. They're kicking us off of Medium, Tumblr, not that we want to be on Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, D-Live, even Alex Jones was preemptively kicked off of DLive.tv. And I like D-Live, but that's a PR move if I've ever seen one. YouTube, Facebook, all that madness. So they're creating new platforms, LBRY.tv, library.tv, a good archive for video content. And you have all three of Jesse's channels and my stuff up there. Cool, huh? And then BitChute.com, same thing. We have all of our stuff up there. Gab.com now. It used to be Gab.ai. Jesse Lee Peterson is on Gab. Minds.com. Jesse's on there. But, you know, they're deplatforming, blacklisting, and they're destroying America. They want the destruction of America. Whereas the people who were back in the 60s and 50s, the anti-communist people, which used to be like both parties, they were deplatforming and not hiring suspected communists and communist sympathizers and outing them and stuff like that. But they hate them, the communists, who have won apparently, hate America and pretend they love the people in it, but they don't have love. Like people like Vaush, I pointed to the thing as if I had him in studio. Vaush, Vaush, I should say, who was on my show a couple of Fridays ago, 3 Fridays ago, pretends, I don't love America. I don't think America should exist, but I love the people in America. I love everybody. But he doesn't. That's just that. Like what Jesse Lee Peterson says, mama love. And people complain that Trump isn't doing anything about it. I don't know what he could do. He could speak more about it. But he's got his own issues he has to deal with. And he reads mainstream stuff, so you don't hear a lot about this in the mainstream media. You really don't. But I say be careful not to become what you hate, because remember when Project Veritas, just a week or 2 or 3 ago, was outing Bernie Sanders supporters, communists, who want gulags? Re-education camps for the rich, make them work, break rocks 16 hours a day, as if that does anything, creates any value anymore. I don't know, maybe it does. But all that stuff, they want to send all the Republicans and Trump supporters to re-education camps. And they're doing this already, to be honest. They send people to sensitivity training when they say the wrong thing about women or blacks or gays or anything else. They send you to sensitivity training. It's rampant in the corporate world because they have these HR departments, human resources, I think. So we already have basically communism, or basically you just call it evil, run in America. But I think that Jesse Lee Peterson makes a great point that you become what you hate and don't hate. Because I was actually thinking about these people doing the FTP, F the police, blank the police things over in New York City, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, whatever they are. Skipping the turnstiles, destroying the property, painting over the sensors so that normal people can't even pay to run the metro line if they want to, or ride the metro line if they want to. Kind of, Satan told me they need re-education camps because they don't even believe in America. They hate freedom. They hate the cops to the point they think that the cops are racist. Stupid. But The Bible says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And it also says, be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around or roams around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And I think that's a good warning because stuff sneaks up on you. The evil can sneak up on you, especially if you get mad or into like having fun as opposed to being about what's right. So anyways, I just thought I would share that. Hope that made sense. Now let me deal with this bald head. You know, there's this line, speaking of the Bible, right? Because I read the Bible. There's this line that said, go on up, bald head. And I hate to make fun of people's hair, but that's what Bad Kids said, go on up, bald head, something like that, to Elijah, or I think it might have been Elisha, or one of the prophets in the Old Testament of the Bible. And then the lions ate those kids. I think lions or wolves or something came over, or bears, came over and ate the kids or mauled the kids, killed them. And I don't know how old these kids were, but that prophet who got called bald head, I think it might have been Elisha, called for it to happen, I think. Oh my gosh, shocking. But here's an evil bald-headed woman. Let's replay that Ayanna Pressley clip, Nicolas.
You know, this room is glorious, and there are a lot of people here. There could have been more people here. I know why some people aren't here. Because of broken hearts, because of broken promises, because of broken systems.
That's her. That's so pathetic. I hate that emotionalism, drama, pretending that people are not showing up to it. That she was at an Elizabeth Warren rally. So Democrat black woman wearing a bald head. And I say wearing a bald head because she doesn't have to be. She could be wearing a wig or whatever. And she doesn't even, if she had alopecia, she needs to talk to Dr. Singh. But I don't know, whatever. But anyways, she was at an Elizabeth Warren rally, and Elizabeth Warren is not an inspiring person. She complained that they didn't have that many people for Elizabeth Warren, right? Well, they had a ton of people. I reported on Hake News. I forget which hour it was today. I think it might have been the second. It was the third hour. Hour 3 of today. Hake News, right? You can check it out. You can read it on thehakereport.com/JLP-news. Or you'll see it. Hake News. But this Bernie Sanders had a huge rally. Well, it was not that big, but it was 3,000 people in Iowa for him. And this has always been the case. It's been Trump gets the biggest rallies. Trump and Bernie get the biggest rallies. Bernie gets decent-sized rallies. Bernie Sanders. Because he's a socialist, and I wanted to see, back in 2016, I wanted to see socialism, meaning Bernie Sanders, meaning lies, right? Versus capitalism, meaning Trump, meaning the truth. Because Trump was not just about capitalism, he was about telling the truth, not kissing up to Black Lives Matter and all that madness. And Bernie Sanders, as I've shown you the day before I interviewed Richard Spencer, I showed you clips from 2015, 2016, I think, of Bernie Sanders being a kiss up to Black Lives Matter and mess. Kiss up to fake black victimhood. And so, but Bernie is still popular because the kids are brainwashed, basically. Anytime you see huge crowds of young people, you know it's mess. You know that it's just, they're useful idiots. They're falling for the Women's March. They're falling for Black Lives Matter. Million Man March, I guess. Maybe the civil rights thing, maybe that was a bunch of suckers. I don't know. Seems like it. Maybe you guys know more than me about that. But maybe Elizabeth Warren needs to offer some of her beers from her fridge to these people at her rallies. Then she'll get more people, because Bernie Sanders, his rally had beer. And they had men smoking pot in the bathroom. Beta males, right? Smoking pot in the bathroom. Ayanna, I think I already mentioned she's the one who's married to a kid. I know a lot of you guys married people who already had kids. Some of you guys. It was a mistake. It was wrong. She's a liberal female in a position of so-called power into the black SJW thing. This Ayanna Pressley. So, I just wanted to point out that Elizabeth Warren is an all-out loser. Even worse than Bernie Sanders, because Bernie's at least popular. He's successfully deceiving the masses. And she's not. Speaking of losers, I have somebody that wants to bring up another candidate. Let me get to Gary out of Fort Lauderdale, and then hopefully I can get to Chris Cuomo. Gary.
Hey, how you doing, James?
Hey, doing fine. You're clipping a little bit. Okay.
Good talking to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I was just bringing a discussion about how the subway riots with these thugs trying to take over the subway.
Yeah.
Is a direct glimpse of what you could expect if you put people like Bloomberg in power over the country, because he can't even control New York subway system and what's going on in New York. How can we expect him to lead us and guide this country?
You know, he's not mayor currently, but he did not. I don't think he led very well. I mean, I know that he's a Democrat.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, he was a Democrat, and he's on top of that. I don't know. He's just rich, but somehow he seems like an incompetent person as far as inspiring anybody, being a real leader.
He's a beta.
Yeah. I don't even really know what he's really about, except he fights. He's for kissing up to the climate change madness, and I know that he bought a Super Bowl ad against the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah, real creep, man. Just a real. I don't know what to call these guys. so yes, and then I want to bring attention to how the Kaepernick guy took a kneel in the Super Bowl, and everybody, was looking at that, and then Jay-Z and Beyonce, as Jesse would say, he would say,
right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce, they sat down for the anthem, man. That was just like the oddest thing to me, that
right.
Everybody was with this Kaepernick thing, and then y'all doing the exact same thing, and they act like y'all not supposed to be with this crap.
Yeah, the evil people hold more sway. They hold more fear and intimidation against the normal people. And so normal people are kissing up to them more. Well, I say normal people, but I mean like the NFL, which is not normal really, to be honest. But they're just allow themselves to be pushed around by the SJWs. I mean, that's really why they support. They wear pink for years. They've been wearing like pink and kissing up to the breast cancer stuff.
And all these satanic rituals they be doing them ceremonies. That's what it be looking like to me. It look like they be channeling their father, Satan. That's what it look like they be doing.
Yeah, probably.
And then like I was saying, man, it's just sad. Like I said, you got these 18-year-olds going around trying to get in politics. You got David Hogg, the Hogg,
gosh,
going around the high schools telling the kids to get in politics, and they coming straight out of high school getting in politics and just straight screwing the country up.
Yeah,
making America a ghetto.
I was thinking about Jay-Z. I feel that he's such a coward. He's transformed too. I showed you guys pictures of Dwight Howard, how Dwight Howard, he's a basketball player. He used to look like a man, and now he looks like a little boy. He looks like one of those dumb rappers, but he looks like he should be shorter and his body should be skinnier, because from the neck down, he looks like maybe a man, but from the head up, he looks silly.
He did, right? And see what he did. He sold out. He gave up being a man to be like a woman, because he was caught in a scandal where they was thinking that he was messing with a transsexual.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you that's what Jay-Z is doing. Jay-Z has grown his hair out, and he looks ridiculous to me. He used to look like a man.
Man. He's a master manipulator, and he's a puppet. Being pulled on the screen by the Grand Geppetto to lead the people. And when I said Grand Geppetto, I mean
meaning Beyonce.
He's the ultimate puppet master of this world. And Jay-Z and Beyonce and Bloomberg and Obama, all those are his puppets that he's stringing. He's stringing along on the string, man. And they just got an agenda to destroy and make America and everything that's good evil.
Yeah, I mean, I think that those guys just follow the crowd, and the crowd is evil, and they're evil too. But I feel that the Carters, Jay-Z and Beyonce, they know that they better not stand up or they'll get backlash for standing for the anthem because they support this Black Lives Matter crap. Anyways.
Yeah, because they don't care. They don't care about Kaepernick. They don't care about no. Listen, let me tell you something. Black Lives Matter is the most evilest thing that ever came out. First of all, I understand it's just good and evil. It ain't no black and white. Because you got to understand, in the 1500s, there was no such thing as race. That was something that was created to divide and conquer the world. Okay? They used it. It worked. Some people get it. Some people don't. But at the end of the day, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they only care about pushing their agenda of their father, which is Satan.
Yeah.
They are children of the lies, and that's all they want to do is promote the lies and keep the people riled up and hysterical so that blacks and whites and Latinos could stay at odds with each other.
I appreciate it, Gary. Good call, man.
All right, bro, man. You have a good one, man. Thanks for accepting my call, man. You have a good one, man. We got to get you number one like Jesse, man. We
all right.
And support you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, bro.
All right. So, speaking of evil, Chris Cuomo is evil. This man, Chris Cuomo he's Andrew Cuomo. Is Andrew Cuomo still governor of New York? I think so. I think he's the brother. Chris Cuomo is the brother. And there's a Daddy Cuomo. And the Daddy Cuomo was governor too, or mayor or something. Current governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. And, Chris Cuomo, he's been called Frito, which is a reference to, I guess, the Mafia or whatever that was, the Godfather movie. I haven't seen it yet. And I was sheltered. But Chris Cuomo and Frito was known as like the little dorky brother who couldn't finish work, whatever. But Chris Cuomo has been on CNN for years, and he's a liberal. I've seen clips of him like showing off his biceps. At least he has biceps, right? But it's just so like female or like, I don't know. It's so dorky. It's not manly. It's not dignified at all. But I respect that he exercises, right? That's good. But this man, he argued in favor of so-called same-sex marriage. I mean, it's no surprise. Two of his fellow CNN hosts are openly, shamelessly homosexuals. One white, the other black, sort of black. Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper. But Chris Cuomo argued in favor of so-called same-sex marriage. He's supposed to be a journalist, right? For around 25 minutes, I'll never forget it. Or at least I haven't forgotten it. Against Judge Roy Moore, who was, I think he was the Chief Justice at the time, Roy Moore, a Republican, Chief Justice out of Alabama. Great judge, great state. And Chris Cuomo doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. Like I said, he's Frito. He supports outright evil and the destruction of America, pretending that he's fair. He's full of himself. Chris Cuomo tweeted a dumb CNN article a couple days ago. I think it was Saturday. And he was talking about this impeachment thing. How Trump is, the article says that the Trump administration reveals that it's blocking dozens of emails about Ukraine aid because the people don't need to know about it, right? I say good. But Chris Cuomo tweeted, "Who blocks info of a perfect situation?" Because the basic premise is, what do you have to hide if it was perfect, right? It almost makes sense. It's like an intellectual wannabe imitation logic, imitation reason. I say, remember Obama, Barack Obama, the former president, the worst president that we've had, declared executive privilege over that Fast and Furious gun running scandal, where the scum of the earth, anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, want to brainwash the masses against guns. Attorney General, Obama's Attorney General, Eric Holder, the black one, well, the black male one, he had a black female one, Loretta Lynch afterwards, was held in contempt of Congress. Attorney General Eric Holder, Barack Obama's Attorney General, was held in contempt of Congress because he wouldn't talk about this gun running scandal, Fast and Furious scandal. They were basically selling guns to Mexican drug cartel members. And it was supposedly to expose a gun something. But, you know, this same Eric Holder guy and Barack Obama were anti-Second Amendment. Big time. Luckily, the people didn't stand for it. But, by the way, they, in this Fast and Furious scandal, they got a border agent, I think, killed. Brian Terry. And you've heard about him a little bit from, I think Chris out of Arizona has called in and talked about this guy, Brian Terry, killed in 2010 at age 40. He might have had a family by a gun that was gun run to Mexicans, illegals, cartel members, whatever they were, from America. Thank you, Obama. Thank you, Eric Holder. Got one of our guys killed. And by the way, New York Times reported last month in January that this male named Heraclio Osorio Arellanes, this guy, Mexican guy, I think, was sentenced to life for killing this Brian Terry. Almost 10 years later, so much for swift justice, right? Justice should be swift. You kill a guy, you get killed. Or you kill a guy, you go to prison. We don't need all these appeals court systems. It's so corrupt. The judges are corrupt. The lawyers are corrupt. America, people are corrupt. Most of them. So anyways, I'm like, to Chris Cuomo, I tweeted him back. I don't know if he saw it. But he was too scared to respond, right? Because it's too logical. I said, smart, good people block info on a perfect call because they're complaining about Trump withholding Ukraine aid. Good people, smart people like Trump withhold info, withhold his tax returns info on perfect situations. One, because slime like Chris Cuomo and CNN scrutinize and twist and mischaracterize and nitpick every little thing. And people are just going to make up anything the more you tell about yourself. So it's personal info, they don't need to know about it. Or it's classified info, they don't need to know about it. Same reason that, so Trump shouldn't release his tax returns either. It's not their business. And who cares about Ukraine? Nobody really. Who cares about stopping? Actually, it's interesting. Why would you, if Joe Biden is so perfect, why would the liberal media and the Democrats and the deep state and Adam Schiff and the guy who snitched to Adam Schiff and Adam Schiff pretended he didn't know, why would they not want the Bidens to be investigated if they have nothing to hide, right? Why wouldn't you want an investigation into the Bidens when they have shady dealings in Ukraine? If Biden's of such great character. Who blocks an investigation into a perfect candidate, right? CNN never scrutinizes blacks, at least liberals, women, liberals, homosexuals, the liberal homosexuals, abortionists, or the Democrats that they like. The keyword that they like, right? So don't cooperate with them whatsoever. They're very fake news, right? So I just wanted to get that off my chest. I mentioned my guest I keep on calling him Vaush. And I also had another guest. I forget which one I had. Oh, yeah. I had that. I hate to call him a rhino, but he seemed a little bit rhino-ish. Saagar, Saagar Enjeti. He seemed like a nice guy. I want to interview Vaush and Saagar again sometime in the future. Next year, something. We'll see. Check back in with them. But in my opinion, they're kind of dumb. I mean, yes. Dumb is in weak, and weak is in evil. Evil is weak. Or no, I say yes. I say evil is weak. I mean, weak is evil. But I interviewed Saagar Enjeti, what was it, Friday? I think Thursday? One of my best interviewers, best listeners, DM'd me about him on Twitter. And he said, the only excuse for your guest Saagar's vapidity, vapid means empty, emptiness, vapidity, is his youth. Meaning lack of substance, right? This is why Conservative Inc., this is what my one of my best listeners says, this is why Conservative Inc. or the cucks, which I'm interjecting is a word that I've started using, so maybe she's starting using it. But a cuck is basically a term that I use to mean those who surrender the country to evil or surrender to evil at all. That's what a cuck is, in my opinion. It's actually a bird who lays its egg in another bird's nest, and then that other bird ends up raising that other bird's baby bird. Does that make sense? You raise children who are not your own. So she said, this is why Conservative Inc. or the cucks will never win. Never win. They're weak and sappy. And that's a good point. I remember I brought up whites, like, does the white decline? Because whites are on the decline. A lot of it's their own fault. And then there's a lot of evil happening against them too, right? From outside. It's also from within, though. If they were good from within, they wouldn't be suffering like they are. Or we wouldn't be suffering like we are, right? I brought up white decline. Does white decline bother you? He said, yes, all decline bothers me. And then he brought up all races and immigrants and blacks. Some black woman story. I'm like, and I wish I would have been more alert, I guess. But I was like, I don't like when they have to bring up the other races just to make it sound like you're not a white nationalist. Because even though he's Indian or whatever he is, he gets accused of being a white nationalist or carrying water for the white nationalists. He was originally hired on the Daily Caller a few years ago, 2016 or so, I think, back when Tucker Carlson was still running it. He was hired by Tucker Carlson. And so Tucker Carlson is accused of being a white nationalist, right? It's ridiculous. As if it's so bad to even be that, right? But whatever. He gets called white supremacist already. So I wish that I had confronted him on bringing up all races when I asked about the whites. I wonder what he thought of me. And I wonder if he really needed to leave a half hour in, or if he just didn't like it wasn't even that edgy of a conversation, but was it too edgy for him? I don't know. Just curious. Satan's talking to me, I guess. I didn't think I was being that edgy. But I was pressing him on the white stuff, which is not safe. Andrew Yang's mentioned that whites are suffering a little bit. And Andrew Yang being this redistribution of $1,000 a month for everybody. Stupid. But he brought up that whites are hurting in the country, or a lot of them are. And then he shut up about that for some reason. It's not politically correct. And Jesse is so right about the South Africa coming here. You look at guys like Jay-Z and Beyonce and all them, and you look at the people in power now already, to be honest. You look at the people in the media, they won't point out, won't even acknowledge the fact that blacks do disproportionate crime. And black on white crime is way more frequent than any other, but they complain that white racism is the problem, when it's not. And so it's just ridiculous. And so, but you can definitely see those guys are more like politically correct, and then they cover for the radicals who do want to hurt the whites. And you do see that in South Africa too, where the politicians are like, we don't want to kill the whites yet. But then meanwhile, like the lower grade, the criminal element of that full-on criminal element of the blacks in South Africa are killing the farmers and one another all the time too. And they have like AIDS like crazy. You can hear Jesse Lee Peterson's interviews with different guests living in South Africa. Some of them South Africans, some of them are Americans. But they have major problems over there. And he's right when he says that it's coming here. I'm going to get to you callers, but I just want to read one more email or DM from my friend who said worse about Vaush, though. Because she said that about Saagar, and then she said this about Vaush. Hey, James, that guy Vaush that you interviewed was a liar. Made my skin crawl. Demonic, methinks. Like a nasty, witchy. She didn't say witchy. She said another word, but I don't. She said a more apt word, let's be honest. But I try not to say it, even though Jesse said it on air. And then she said, like a nasty, witchy, and didn't use the real word, right? Mephistophelian character. Mephistophelian. What was that? What did that word mean again? Mephistophelian character. Pure evil. She's smart. Mephistophelian means wicked or fiendish. Early 19th century means the 1800s. From Mephistopheles, an evil spirit to whom Faust, the German legend, sold his soul. Yeah, so that's what she thinks of Vaush. Makes her skin crawl. And yeah, it's evil. Just imitation of good. Anyways, let me get to some calls. It's very true. So thank you. Let me get to Donning Armour out of Southern California. Donning Armour, good to hear from you.
Mr. Hake, how are you doing, sir?
Doing fine. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
Right on.
Did you, by chance, I know that you didn't watch, or at least you said that you wouldn't watch it, the Super Bowl.
Right.
Did you see the halftime show? Have you heard anything about it?
I've heard about it. I did not watch it. In fact, I could hear it going in the other room, and I closed my door. I was actually listening to Asmodor. He had a Satan Bowl
It probably
stream.
sounded like a quinceañera going on in the other room.
Yeah, I recognized the Shakira song that was playing. I used to like some of her songs, but I really don't like them being into the woman thing, because they are into the woman thing, and I don't like them being into the Latina thing, as opposed to the America thing. So.
Oh, well, then you wouldn't like the halftime show, because this was the least American, least white halftime performance I've ever seen in my life. She even came out in a dress that was the Puerto Rican flag. Everything about it was, you may have had one or two token white performers dancing in the background.
Yeah.
Everyone was Hispanic or black. I mean, they spit in the face of, I thought football, American football was just an American sport. And
right.
America's a white country, but it doesn't seem to be anymore. Because they were pandering so hard to people of color that it was insufferable. For me, I'm glad that I stole it, because I'm not going to pay our ratings to such nonsense. I recommend you check it out. At one point, both of the ladies, if you want to call them that, they turned around and started shaking their gelatinous butts in the camera.
Gross.
Like some kind of, I thought I was watching Nat Geo for a second. It was just...
Yeah, it's really bad.
Football is not, it's no longer American.
Right.
They openly disrespect our nation, and I agree with you. Nobody should even watch that garbage sport. Watch boxing, a real man's sport, instead.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate that, Donning Armour. It's
no problem.
It is true. Wow, you stole it. He admitted to stealing it on air. Dang. But anyways, man, it was to be expected.
Person. I told you I'm not a Christian, so
right,
it's
okay
for us to steal. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Are you surprised? I mean, we saw the Beyonce halftime show 2, 3, 4 years ago, and it seemed like every bit as bad. It was Black Panther madness, kissing up to the Black Lives Matter thing. Remember that? Yeah. So
well, I'm one of the people that always say super.
You're breaking up a bit, Donning Armour. Hello. He's gone.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, sorry about that.
What did you just say about? Yeah, go for it.
I'm one of the people that I've always watched the Super Bowl for the commercials I've watched the commercials more than I have for the game because I don't follow the sport. I don't care about it really. So
yeah,
but it has. I mean, it's really fallen from even when I was a child. I mean, I'm 36 years old. You're around my age, and the country, the way that it's changing and the speed that it's changing at it's alarming. It's disturbing, and no wonder why we're getting. Oh, hello?
Yeah. You're saying no wonder why we're getting what?
No wonder why we're seeing these effects spreading out throughout our communities. Because I'm talking about the drug epidemic taking hold in the white community. We're not having children. We're committing suicide at an alarming rate. All of these things are just byproducts of replacing our people and our culture with other groups. They don't belong here. Go back home.
Yeah, and they don't have our values, and they don't respect our values.
They don't share our values. They don't have our culture. They don't like our music. They don't like the names that we give our kids. They don't anything about us. They don't like. So why are you here? Oh, that's right, because you can make more money.
Yeah,
but we're talking about a livelihood. We're going to die out if we don't stop this invasion, and it is an invasion. And I'm not saying that every Mexican or every black is a bad person.
I know.
Look, I'd do the same thing if I thought that I could make $1. But it's up to us to stop them. And it doesn't seem like our leadership, the NFL is just an example, but where it really hurts is in our politicians and our leadership.
Right, definitely.
They're trying to save $1 by importing people from abroad, and it's just not right to us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
True, man. I appreciate it, Donning Armour. Thanks for getting it off your chest. Take care.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Let me get to Joey out of Wyoming. Joey, thanks for holding. What's up?
Hey, thank you, Hake. I just wanted to give you some insight into the whole race dilemma. From my perspective, I lived in Southwest Florida for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
You ever been down that way?
Southwest Florida? I don't think so. No. I've only been to the northern part of Florida that I can remember.
Okay, well, down that way, in areas, it can be pretty segregated, okay?
All right.
But it's not by anybody making them do it. People just sort of do what they want to do.
Yep.
Some people want to hang out over here. Some people want to hang out over there.
Are the blacker areas ghetto?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to drive through there with your door unlocked, put it that way.
Yeah.
And
Typical.
The thing is, most people don't drive through there, but I figure it's a quicker route. Why not,
Wow. Brave.
Well, no, that's the thing is, there's this whole thing people get in their head that just because this group over here, it's like high school. Oh, they're a group over there, and you just sort of build up all this thing because nobody's talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you just sort of look someone in the eye and you talk to them like a person, you never know where it can go from there,
Yeah, that's true. You get new respect for the person that you thought differently of.
Yeah,
once you talk with them.
Different. That makes it even cooler because you get to hear about stuff you don't hear about usually.
Yeah. So what do you mean? So what's your point about them naturally separating and then you talking with them, you interacting with them?
Well, we're all freaking mammals. We got claws. We're covered in fur. We sleep in little nests. People are just going to do what people do, like animals do what animals do.
Yeah.
The more we think about it and get all worked up about it, then it doesn't do anybody any good.
Yeah, we just need to start enforcing and living for what's right, though, because we're allowing evil to take over, I think, in our personal lives and then out in the world too. And it's seemingly getting worse, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, definitely. You got to use Jesus as the prime example. He didn't get all bummed out whenever there was somebody that was not from around where he was from. He'd make a new friend, you know?
I don't know, man. Yeah. Anyways, Joey, appreciate the call.
All right, thanks, Hake.
Yeah, good to hear from you.
Thank you.
Take care. Let me get to Maze, my favorite caller out of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hello, James.
Hey.
Oh, it's funny to listen to y'all Christian heathens complain about the Super Bowl, Beyonce and the Jay-Z not standing up. They weren't the only one that wasn't standing up. Y'all didn't see the other people? Y'all don't know their names?
No.
That was sitting around them that wasn't standing up?
I didn't see anybody sitting around them that was not standing up.
Tape again.
It looked like everybody was standing to me.
They were so busy focusing on Beyonce and their daughter and Jay-Z.
Clip?
Christian people should keep their nose out of other people's business.
What's a Christian heathen?
Anyway. That's why I say you're heathen.
You call us Christian heathens.
You're doing what the heathens do. Heathens go around.
Are you a heathen?
Looking at naked people and then come and bringing it for other people to see.
Are you a heathen?
Excuse me?
Are you a heathen?
I don't consider myself a Christian.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
If you're not a Christian, you're a heathen.
So that's what I say, James.
No. If you're not a Christian, you're a heathen.
That's what I'm saying, James. You're always somewhere, but you're not showing what the Christians are doing.
If you're not a Jew, you're a goy, right? If you're not a Christian, you're a heathen.
No, I'm not.
If you're not a Muslim, you're an infidel.
Don't want to be one. But these Christian heathens.
No, I don't judge the Christian heathens. I don't care.
Like
I don't want to hear you judging the Christian heathens.
You're crying like babies.
No,
what are y'all doing that's Christian?
You're watching the Jesse Lee Peterson show just to judge us. So what are you talking about?
I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you.
Maze always gets me amped. Somebody said that last time.
Not judging.
Yeah, you are. You're judging. You're judging me. Let's play this.
That's why I call you.
Let's play this clip. This is the heathens.
So what did Jay-Z and Beyonce do for this country because they didn't stand up?
Evil. They've just done evil, and they're making a little evil baby.
And I sit there and I talked about black people. I sit there and I complain about.
I didn't see anybody else sitting except for maybe this white guy right here, or is he really white?
So that's just how it goes, James. The heathens, and stop trying to pretend you're Christian because you're not. Let the Christians about you.
Very nice clock, Mace. Is that your anniversary clock?
No, that's my clock that chimes.
Nice.
It's my antique clock.
Right on.
Yes. So now I'm not talking about my clock. I'm talking about
that means it's almost time to end the show.
From you to Jesse and all of the rest of them. Joel, too.
No, you can't talk about Joel. He's not in a position to respond right now. You can't be talking about him.
Well, I can talk to Jesse, too. If y'all open up the line, but I can't get through. I can't talk to him. So I'm talking to you to tell you, stop whining and crying.
If you want to get through, you got to call right at... You're in Ohio. You got to call right at 9 a.m., right when I'm doing the Hake News. We may be changing up the programming, but right at 9, you got to call in to get through.
I mean, y'all scared of your shadows and always trying to find something equal to come out and talk about. I haven't heard talk about.
We're not scared of our shadows. We're scared of the blacks.
Excuse me?
I said we're not scared of our shadows. We're scared of the blacks.
Really?
It's true because think about Jay-Z and Beyonce covering for the black on white hatred because they hate the whites themselves, and they don't love blacks either. They have no love for the blacks. They have no love for their daughter, Blue Ivy.
It was a blonde-headed lady
they're misleading,
and a man next to her behind on the other side of Jay-Z now.
All right, then you call them out. You call them out. We're calling out the Carters.
I'm saying you see what you want to see and spread the lies that you want to spread.
No, I don't spread any lies. Where's the lie? Anyways,
so somebody need to put y'all in check, you haters.
Somebody gonna put y'all back in chains. All right, Mace.
That's all I gotta say. Have a good one, James.
You too. Nice hearing from you. Mark out of Charleston, South Carolina. Art out of Ohio. I'm sorry I cannot get to you guys, but I will be here tomorrow on the Hake Report and, of course, the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. No men's forum this Thursday, guys. Normally, men's forum is the first Thursday of the month, but not this month because Jesse Lee Peterson and Nico, I think, maybe, are going to a speaking engagement, Content of Character series. Check it out, rebuildingtheman.com/events, or check it out on jesseleepeterson.com. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thehakereport.com for my stuff. JLPtalk.com redirects to Jesse Lee Peterson's radio show page. All right, guys. Take care.